Welcome to Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. And now, Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater.
Welcome to the program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Think back, maybe in some cases many years, decades, maybe it's the last millennium. Think back to when you were a child and what your favorite childhood book was. Did it have tattered pages from you opening it and reading it? Perhaps your mother, your grandmother, your father read you the story. Think back to that time, the precious times when you had your famous book, a favorite book. Like this one, New York Times bestseller, Dragons Love Tacos. I don't think this was on your bookshelf. Well, when you think of those wonderful memories and what that meant to your life, think about the children, perhaps 1 in 4 in our community, who don't have a favorite childhood book because they don't have any books in their households. Well, in the program today, we're going to talk about a nonprofit organization, Global Give a Book, which is working very hard to change all that. Not only to put books on children's bookshelves in their homes, but also to put smiles on their faces and also to give them a chance in life because they'll have a favorite book as a child. We'll be back with Global Give a Book right after this. Stay with us.
Hey America, now there's a place where we can join our voice, Real America's Voice. Real America's Voice is coming to a town near you with a grassroots approach, bringing the real voice of America together. Real America's Voice is growing our family of networks across the country, and soon you could be part of that change. Download the Real America's Voice app and join other Americans just like you across the country, coming together for real.
Those numbers are kind of shocking, aren't they? 1 in 4 children don't even have a book in their house. Well, you might know of somebody. Underprivileged children might not have a book because I think their moms and dads or grandma and grandpas think they need food in the pantry, food in the refrigerator before they can have a book on the shelf. Well, Global Give a Book is changing all of that, starting here in New Mexico, but also expanding to other parts of our country and even globally. So congratulations to you. You're award-winning. We think it's terrific. And of course, Sylvia Maser, you have your story about why reading is so important to you. But congratulations. I think you've had your organization for about 3 years now.
Yes, that is correct.
And you're really giving children a chance. Tell me what your main purpose is for Global Give a Book.
Well, you know, statistically, it's a lot worse than 1 out of every 4. Are you ready for this? It's 1 out of 300 low-income children grow up without a book. That is a number that just should not be acceptable. And so I've been giving out books for years. I'm about 17 years, and it's always been in my heart. I was raised by immigrant parents, so I didn't really grow up with books like the ones you see here. But as a single mother of 5 children, I knew just what you said. It was very important to get the children with books. But when you're at the food pantry and you're not going to spend your last dollar on a book when your children need to eat. And that is something that's very real right now.
Did you experience that,
Yes.
Sylvia Maser?
Yes, I was a single mother for 13 years, 4 boys and 1 girl, and they're all about a year apart. And so it was rough, but I was in the food pantries a lot. And I always looked around and thought, God, it would be awesome if somebody can give my children a good quality book, not a paperback, not something that can be through, but something that can go to the next generation. But it always stayed in my heart to do that, and I've never let it go.
And you started your organization just 3 years ago, but you said you've been giving out books for 17 years?
I started as an LLC, just giving out books because I knew that was important. And then when the pandemic happened, Diane, I realized I need to do something and step out in faith. And so I resigned from a job that I had, a very lucrative position that I had, in August of 2020, and we got our 501c3 nonprofit in September 2020. So that's when that's why I realized the children need us to focus on them. And then with the pandemic, we've not deliberately, but it's easy to just not pay attention to our own children. especially when it comes to literacy. That is the foundation of
Coming from an immigrant family, you did not speak English. Tell me a little bit about that story, and again, how literacy, I mean, it does touch my heart, because a child can't have a bright future if they cannot read.
Right.
But not only not read just for filling out an application, but the love of reading, the characters and what it means that they can go into their own little life.
Imagination room and just feel happy, good.
And not have that ability to even do that.
Yeah.
Let alone find a job without being able to read. So what is your story,
Well, you're right.
Sylvia?
My parents were immigrants from Chihuahua. And so when I came to the U.S. and as a first grader, I started school here, first, second, third. I didn't have the love of reading. First of all, I didn't want to read out loud because I didn't think that my pronunciation was going to be eloquently enough for a third grader. So I just shied away from it. You know, when I let people know that I give books out, they right away assume, you must have been a fantastic reader. And I was like, no, but I see the value of it, the importance of it. And so that is basically what happened when I just, growing up, I didn't grow up with. It was during my college years that I had a love of reading. Actually, my new faith, being a Christian and wanting to know more about the Bible, then I started picking up more and more books, just couldn't wait, and just reading more. And so that really is what sparked, if you have a love for a certain book, you'll read it, and you'll read it more. And so, like the book you have, and all the books that we give are hard quality books.
Hardcover and high quality and award-winning, meaning, like you say, some proud to have.
This is an award-winning, this is a Caldecott award-winning book, and it's given to the picture books that are illustrated. It's an illustrated award that is given to them. So I thought, we gotta give them the best of the best.
Wow, the best. I don't think I had the best of the best growing up.
I didn't either, and
right?
maybe
We didn't have the
that's
best. I
why.
mean, we didn't have a pretty book like this to cherish and hold. Maybe a Christmas story, maybe a hardcover Christmas story. But you began reading because you started reading the Bible and everything related to that. That's what gave you the love of reading at that point. What about your children? How did raised 5 children?
I have 5 children. The oldest is Christopher. He's in Lubbock with his wife Fernanda, and they just gave me a most beautiful granddaughter. She's a year old, so it's been fantastic having a granddaughter with them. And my daughter Christina is in Austin, Texas, and she's a real estate broker. So she's a real estate in San Marcos, and she gave me, I say she gave me because she really did, 2 grandsons, Austin and Carter, and she's married to Jonathan. And then my son Nicholas, he's a chief warrant officer for the U.S. Army. So he's a chief warrant officer 3. So he has really done extremely well. He has a passion for logistics, believe it or not. So he's been doing really good. And he also got his master's at Texas Tech. My son James, he went to Texas Tech as well, and he was in the U.S. Army and got some really significant awards with that. And my favorite is Troy, and Troy didn't go to college, but he can build you a house from the ground up. He's an entrepreneur, and he loves just building and using his hands to build things. So, you know, you've got children of all kinds too.
Did they, when they were little, did you read to them? Did they read?
I can't say I really read to them like now I see the value of it. And so because I was always looking to just bring in that bacon just to make sure that they ate. So I didn't read to them like I wish I could, but I knew the importance of having books around. And you know, I tell people I raised my children on my knees praying, always praying, because I didn't give them the books like I wish I had, but they still succeeded extremely well.
From the prayers then?
Yes.
From the book. I recall my son in 2nd grade in Santa Fe, the teacher requiring me to read to him every night and to write a log. And as a working mother, I was tired.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
If I didn't have that teacher requiring me to write down how many minutes I read and how many minutes he read, I probably wouldn't have done it, but having to do it as an assignment and log it, I thought that was the best gift that second grade teacher gave me as a mother and my son, because it forced me every night to read,
Well, I saw
tired or not.
I solved that problem because parents are busy and they love to just sit down and talk, but sometimes they can't. So we came up with a program called Reading with Shepherd Daisy. Shepherd Daisy is a German Shepherd that encourages the children to read 15 minutes a day to their pet dog, cat, or stuffed animal. So now the responsibility is on the child. So the child picks up the book and reads to their puppy and their kitty and a stuffed animal if needed. So now,
A stuffed animal.
and guess what? A dog gets so happy just to have the attention, and the cat, so they don't criticize your reading. And so the child gets all excited, and the mom all has to say, okay, have you read 15 minutes to Kitty? Not yet, and they don't even have to. And it's interesting, one of the mothers told me, I put the timer for 15 minutes, and he wanted to just keep reading. So
What was he reading to? What was he reading to?
To a little cat. One of the, just any book. And then we're talking about pre-literacy too. So they're 3-year-olds, 4, 5. They really don't know how to read. But when you get a book like this, you can picture read and just
Tell the
make your own
story.
story up as you go along. And that's why I like the award-winning Caldecott books, because of that.
Is this, Sylvia, online where they do this? How do you organize this, Read to Daisy
Well,
Shepherd?
we did an event, and
When you were, I read online, Read to Daisy Shepherd, and I thought, is that somebody famous? Am I supposed to know who Daisy Shepherd is? I really thought it, because it
My
didn't say
German
who it was. I
Shepherd.
thought, is this a famous person that I don't know?
Yes. Well, let's see. Last April, we had Chris Aguirre. He's the creator of Puss in Boots. And so we had an event with 21 their Title I schools that came, and we had it at Cesar Chavez Community Center. And he's a dear friend of mine from elementary. So he came from Anaheim just to rouse the children and to kind of show. He had just done a book, a children's book that's on
Let me see
Netflix, Spirit Rangers.
And this was at Cesar Chavez in...
It was last year, so we're going to be doing more Reading to Shepherd Daisy, because you have children that do have books, they just don't have the love for it, reading. So this program encourages that. And then of course the other the one in the back is,
Well, we'll talk about that one later.
Okay.
But this
that
one, okay.
And so we're looking at possibly doing it again. I just haven't gotten all the particulars for the spring.
But I mean, so Reading to Shepherd Daisy, is it something the moms can find online, the parents can find online?
Yes, just go to ggab.org, and then you can see that program and how we encourage them. And you can also video your child if you want reading and submit it, and then we'll play them on YouTube. Just there's a few there, and it encourages other children to read. So now the mother's busy cooking, and the child's just having a great time reading to a stuffed animal.
Was this your idea?
Yes, I
This is a
have this
clever
German
idea.
Shepherd, a dog that I've had for, well, she was getting old. She was like 14 years old. And I thought, I want her to live forever. And I feel like it came to my spirit. Let's do a program, Reading to Shepherd Daisy, a German Shepherd.
Your Global Give a Book, is that something that originated here in New Mexico with you, or is that a global reading program?
I'm the founder of it. It's something I came up with. Yeah, and I've had that. First there was New Mexico Give a Book, and then it was Give a Book Global, and then I finally decided to, the LLCs, and then it just went straight with Global Give a Book. But it's something I came up with years
So you
ago.
do fundraising to raise money to buy these quality award-winning books.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about the fundraising. Before you can give a book, you have to buy the book.
Yes, we do 3 major events throughout the year. Lavender Libros at the Village, Lavender Libros in the Sky, and the Daisy. And people can, the Reading with Shepherd Daisy, and people can come. And the awareness of youth literacy is what we're trying to get. The majority of our funding comes through grants. We're able to tap into local grants and also the community, which I have quite a few that have reached out and realized how important that youth literacy is. So the Rotary Club has been extremely generous with us, and they give us the funding so we can go to the publishers and buy brand new books. They're not used books, they're brand new. And one of the partners that if it's okay, I can tell you
Sure.
now, one of the strong partners that we have, Diane, that I just absolutely am so grateful that we met, is Stride. And Stride, I was taking a procurement class and she came up to me, was like, Sylvia, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Carrie, and my mother started a company 40 years ago, and we hire special need adults. And we would love for us to do all your packaging. Every book is individually packaged.
Nice packages.
So the special need adults, they put the bookmarker, our mailing label, and then the package.
Sorry to say, I like the package because that just shows the child it's a new book.
And now having the special need adults do it for us, and they've done close to 20,000 books to date. Of books just like this quality.
And their Stride is here in
in New Mexico.
New
Stride.
Mexico as well.
Stride.
So they're one of your
Incorporated.
partners.
Yes, they're one of our strong partners. Oops. And so what we realized, Diane, if we're trying to get the books to the children that need it the most, is when we thought the best thing to do is partner up with food pantries. That's where the families show up.
What a nice idea.
And
that
so they come from miles to get their bread, a box of bread, and they get a book, a quality book, award-winning book, individually packaged with the bread to go home. So it helps the adults too, especially going through crisis. To get a book like that, I think it does something to the mind, and it just kind of relaxes you.
So which food pantries?
These are the food pantries that we're currently in partnership with.
Okay, Roadrunner Food Bank.
Yeah, they help
the Grande
us-
Food Project.
This community project, the community pantry is in Gallup, and we have given them thousands of books, and what we do is the Roadrunner helps us deliver the books with food to Gallup. In the community pantry, they have about 27 elementary schools in their region. And so we give them the book, and they put the book in with their snack pack to go to the school, the elementary school. And I've got a couple of pictures here because I think that's the best, is just to show when the children actually get. And
I saw this online.
Yes, and that's why we can claim that the books go 100% to the child that needs them. It's because they go get the food and they get the book at the same time. And this is my favorite. They send us thank you cards. Just lovely thank you cards, and that just warms my heart that we're on the right track because they're getting it. It's not, well, if you give us the money, we'll get books and we'll see if they get to the child. No, we know they get to the child 100% doing it this way.
That's amazing. Again, going through the pantries.
And
Food
then
bank.
we-
And Gallup, and I think the Native American children, low income,
Yes.
desperately needing. How did you start with the Gallup area?
The Gallup is, how do we start or how?
Or how did you work with them?
We give them the books, and that is when the pantry, the community pantry there, takes them to the school where the children are at, so that they can have a snack pack and a book. And so if you see the other partners are with Santa Fe, the diaper program in Santa Fe, which that was around when I was having 5 children, right? And so we've given them quite a few thousand books too.
It's called Get Behind the Diaper
Yes. So
Depot. Get Behind the Diaper Depot. Okay.
So when the parents come, they get
Here's
a board book to go with the diapers. And also the Food Depot in Santa Fe. We've been doing a lot with them, and let me see, the food project, the Rio Grande Food Project is also a fun place because they do a lot of urban garden growing, and they have hundreds of families, especially during the pandemic where they had to figure out a way to come and get food. And maybe that's where, even though it happened in the pandemic, the packaging was just my way of saying, here's a gift. But it worked out. It worked out because during the pandemic, you wanted to make sure that the books were going into the food box okay. And so
Adorable. We're going to have you back talking about various titles of books and how members of the public can get involved, community leaders, to read, which is important. Why did you choose award-winning books?
Quality. I want our children, just because they're low income, I want them to have a quality and know at a young age what quality means. And when you have somebody a book that has already been given an honor, like a Caldecott Award, you know it's already a successful book. And so it's easy for the pantries and for the other organizations to say yes to me. Yeah, bring the books over, because they've already gone through the different parts of to accept the book.
What have you heard about the program so far from the pantries, from the parents,
Oh,
from the children? You have the thank you notes.
Yeah, the thank you notes say a lot, but the parents too. And when they're bilingual, we have the grandparents. Right now it seems like more grandparents are raising their children. And so we get a lot of testimonials from the grandparents saying, thank you so much. My daughter is excited to read a Spanish book to me, and they would thank me that I'm not losing their language, that they can have a bilingual book. This book,
Which books do you have,
well,
Sylvia Maser?
This one is Vámonos. Let's go to the market. So Vámonos is let's go. And so this is a bilingual book as well. And
it's bilingual.
Bilingual, which is English and Spanish, but then we have some that are just completely 100% Spanish. But this other books, they're more for the younger ones, but I think the adults like them too, because it's your first 100 words in Spanish. Mis primeras 100 palabras en español. And so you can learn Spanish, you can learn English really quickly with that. Yeah.
Other parts of the state. You mentioned Gallup, of course, Santa Fe, Albuquerque.
We give to the St. Felix Pantry in Rio Rancho. I don't know if you've been to the St. Felix Pantry in Rio Rancho. It's run by nuns, and they're like in their 70s, but they run around like if they're 21 years old. I just absolutely love them. So we've been giving them books for the past 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and we are going global organically. I didn't do this, and I'll tell you why, because Sister Juanita came up to me and asked me, Sylvia, I got a new calling. They're going to send me to Detroit, but I'm going to be in charge of a low-income daycare. Do you think you can send me books? And I thought, yes, we can. Let's just fill out the paperwork. Now we're in Detroit. I didn't go knock on anybody's door, but Sister Juanita was able to take our program over there.
And I think you're in Baltimore as well.
Yes, we're in Baltimore because we do have Jordan Oliver, who has a book that she has written. So we've partnered up with her and given books there. We've been giving books to
Guatemala.
Yes,
I'm thinking that's what made it that's what made it a little bit global.
Well, the Guatemala is another one I didn't go looking for. It's an orphanage in Guatemala, but the directors live here. So I met the directors through some other acquaintance, and she was telling me about the orphanage. And I thought, well, we can take some books there. So I gave them to her, and she took them when they were taking food and supplies and so forth. So on the website, you can see a picture of the children receiving the book as well. So that's another one. Cambodia, we have one of our sponsors and travels to Cambodia. He does an art project. It's a world of difference. He does a lot of art for the children. Well, he took some books and he's been reading our books to the children in Cambodia. So that's how we're letting it grow organically. But what's most important is let's take care of our backyard first. I really want New Mexico to stand behind me and say, yes, youth literacy is important to our children. Here's some funding. Because, as I had mentioned, we have about 18 organizations that have already signed agreements for the books. Now we're just waiting for the funding to come so we can supply them 100%. Because we give them books as the funding comes so that they can continue. But we want to be at 100% capacity.
Because you have Global Give a Book, promoting youth literacy by giving award-winning books to children in need. This is your letter.
funding.
For funding. But again, you receive grants from the
Yes.
government.
And local businesses are the ones that have really stepped up.
What do you think of children reading by the third grade? That's been a big issue here in New Mexico. It's called social promotion. Politicians in Santa Fe at the Capitol, some people say no, they need to stay in their grade until they can read, because if they cannot read a storybook, then they're not going to read their chemistry book or their history book.
won't.
They won't be able to.
And how
So-
can a child read if they don't even know what a book looks like? That is what bothers me. And I'll tell you a quick story. There was 2 educators I met the same week. Okay, one in Espanola, very young educator. She's just getting into the field. And she's telling me that the children don't know what a book looks like. A first grader comes in. And you get one that knows how to read, and the other one doesn't even know. They bang it. They're upside down. They don't even know how to hold it. And the same story was given to me by an educator that's been around for 45 years here in Albuquerque. And so
Saying what?
that the children don't even know what a book looks like. So forget the stress of 1, 2, 3, ABC that the educator has to teach them. They have to show them, this is the way you open the book. It's not upside down. This is right. And you flip from right to left. And you don't tear it. And it's so.
The same week,
and-
Sylvia Maser, you heard that story.
In the same week.
Oh,
And
but you're doing something about it. Our
Well, yes.
educators are doing something about
Let's
it.
all do
we at
something about it.
Here at KCHF TV, we're doing something about it.
yes, you are.
Thank you for all you're doing for the community. We're going to have you back as we discuss how other leaders in the community can participate. And
Yes.
we're going to talk about your lavender reading program and where they can find you in the community and where they can find you online. Sylvia
Thank
Maser,
you.
thank you so much. We're going to talk about your books next time, the award-winning, what makes them award-winning, and what you as parents and grandparents and supporters of children can do as you look for your child's book. Thank you for watching this program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Go out and make it a great week with your family. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
The New Mexico Modern Child Support Family Program works to benefit both parents for the purpose of improving children's lives. It provides the basics of child support, but goes further by helping parents step up to find better job opportunities that get them back on track to paying their monthly child support obligation. Find out how the Child Support Step Up program can help your modern family. Contact New Mexico Child Support today to learn more.
Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program or to purchase a copy of any Issues and Answers program, visit sunbroadcasting.org or call us at 505-345-1991.